La la la. La 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 la. Morning, Harper. Hello. Hello. Oh, I see. Your PFP did change. Casey's got a new profile picture. Casey's doing a new thing. Your face is unswollen? Why was your face swollen in the first place? So I was reading before I came into the stream today, a Politico article about how Trump is raging out because of this New York Times article that came out that was not even so much making fun of his age as like legitimately just calling into question, like, is this too old? Is Donald Trump officially too old to be president? Just like they did with Joe Biden. It's not like the same exact claims weren't made about Biden. The thing that made me chuckle about it rather was that um, it's like the second or third. No, honestly, it's the third election cycle in a row where talk about like the candidate being too old has been a dominant thread in the media narrative surrounding the presidents. And it makes sense because, well, Trump was the oldest president ever elected when he was elected the first time. And then Biden was the oldest. And then Trump is now, once again, the oldest. So it's like every single election cycle we seem to be electing older and older and older politicians. And really, the funny thing is, like the ironic thing is that if you really think about it, since about the 90s, since about the oh my God, it's even worse than that. Since about the 80s, we've been electing politicians from roughly the same generation. Literally, a lot of the people that are long standbys in Congress now were elected back in the late 70s, early 80s, or late 80s. They were elected 40 fucking years ago, 30 fucking years ago, fucking 35 years ago, and they've maintained that power throughout all of this time. They maintained that power throughout all of this time, and they represent a cadre of like one pretty specific demographic of people. So the thing that I wonder is like, when are we going to give up these like really ancient politicians and start to elect some people that are like, I don't know, closer to our parents' age, maybe? Because right now, a lot of people are electing people that are older than their grandparents. Like the sitting president right now is older than any of my grandparents. That's scary. At least it is to me. Maybe it's not to other people. This guy is not pretty. Well, I'm not a guy, so there's that. Jot that down, as they say. You should run for office? No. How about no? You smoke weed? Pray with me. You aren't acting very feminine, and you would know, right? You would know because of all that pussy you're slaying, right? Somebody get that 12-year-old out of here. This is an 18 plus chat. You're going to participate in the chat. Please conduct yourself like an adult and like a person who's had a baseline education that enables you to type legibly. You know, I assume you can spell. I assume you probably graduated high school or at the very least graduated middle school. Please type like it in here. It really helps me be able to read the chat and use it for something helpful. Also, make sure you guys hit that like button. There are over 100 of you watching right now, so if half of you guys hit that like button, that would be 50 likes on top of 2 we already have. So please hit that button. It is a cost-free way to help the stream and help the channel, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. What's up, Bree? Hello from Alabama. Love your shirt. Hey, we're neighbors. I live in Mississippi. That's cool. Let's do that. We won't even do a message delay just yet. We'll do subs only mode for a second and see if the chat gets any more comprehensible. Hello from Florida. What's up, Florida? What's up? Brush your teeth? I do. He, him, are those your pronouns, Lion? Good to know. Are you a boy or a girl? A girl. Thank you for the high five. High five. Hello from Michigan. Let's get a what's your 20? Everybody's saying hello from Florida, hello from Alabama, hello from Michigan, hello from Mississippi. Let's get a what's your 20? Hit me in the chat with your location. Where are you from? I want to know. Where are you from? Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, Georgia, the other Georgia, maybe? Ukraine, China? Let me know your location. North Korea? Ain't got any North Koreans? There's always somebody that claims it. Cali, Oregon, South Dakota. Nice, nice, nice. Cali's a nice state. Cali's a genuinely really cool state. Michigan. Michigander. Cummy Nipples? No, I don't remember where you're from, Cummy Nipples. I don't remember off the top of my head, no. um Grand Rapids, nice, nice. Alabama, nice, nice. You worship the devil? No. It's nice but very expensive. Yeah, well, that's why I didn't stay in California. I realized I was not cut out for that kind of cost of living expense. I live in South Dakota, but family's from Ukraine. Oh, that's cool. Neat. What generation immigrant are you? Nuke, Michigan? Why? Glitch Dash is from there. Good old Festus, Missouri. Oh, yeah. I forget about that, Cummy Nipples. Yeah. Festus is a cool place. I have made a ton of money sitting in the intersection outside of the Walmart in Festus, you know, the one by the gas station. I have made a ton of money spanging that intersection. So God bless Festus. You know, like there's a chance that you've um, donated to me at one point or another. If you like have been living in Festus for a long time, you may have seen me spanging out there at one point. What flavor is your vape? Pineapple mango. Boston, nice. I used to live in Western Mass. Western Mass is fucking beautiful. But honestly, Boston is not bad. Like for a big city, the metro area is pretty easy to get around. I mean, it's definitely, I will tell you this much. It's kind of weird if you're used to very car centric design because Boston is just too old to be car centric. And a lot of the suburbs and kind of exurbs and shit of Boston are also too old to be car centric. So there is still a lot of emphasis on not passengers, but pedestrians and people in buses and trains and stuff like that. And because of that, it can be a little bit hard to drive around in that area. But I feel like there's actually like less cars on the road because it can be kind of hard to drive around. So I feel like once you figure out the weird peccadillos of driving around in eastern Massachusetts, it's actually a more pleasurable experience than driving around in most cities. Very cool, and yes, Boston is dope. Yeah, I stayed in When I was living in my van, I stayed in Tewksbury for like a month because it was just beautiful. The weather was beautiful. The weed I kept getting donated was fucking amazing. I don't know what, dude. I never thought about Massachusetts as being a state that would have really dope weed, but color me surprised. Singing sucks. Green teeth, subbed and unsubbed to say this. Cool, thanks. I appreciate it. Thanks for helping me get a little bit more attention to the algorithm. I appreciate it a lot. Washington, D.C., nice, nice. Brush your teeth? I do. The sooner you do it, the more, the faster they will come to terms with your sexuality. As a dad of a son, I would be heartbroken, but I would get over it because at the end of the day, I just wanted to be happy. And I don't even know why you would be heartbroken because, like, okay, so, like, let's say you're really wanting grandkids. Well, even if that's your only kid, who's to say that him being gay or trans or whatever is going to mean that he's not going to have kids? Like, I'm a trans woman, I have a child. I'm bisexual, I have a child. So, you know and I'm considered pretty queer. So, not like, if that's the thing you would be dead set, like your heart dead set on, then yeah. I mean, it's like I guess there's a slightly less chance, but it's not like it goes out of the question completely. And you know, as far as like what kind of person your child dates, I can't even imagine why that would be a concern of somebody's, as long as it's a good person for them, as long as it's somebody that makes them happy. You like fentanyl, the music artist? Completely unfamiliar. Completely unfamiliar. Sorry to ask, are you a man or a woman? Don't want to misgender you. I'm a woman. Thank you for asking. I plan on being there, and thank you for caring, honestly. I plan on being there for the inevitable Festus meetup. My wife is excited. 100%. The inevitable Festus meetup has to happen. When Brett Keane fucking finally dies and passes away from this planet, we must have a Festus, Missouri meetup. Not only that, but dude, I bet, dude, Cummy Nipples, is there a weed lounge open in Festus yet? I bet there's a good venue for a DFF meetup in Festus. These mods working hard. They always do. Keeping the chat readable, keeping it comprehensible. Make sure you guys hit that like button, by the way. I really do appreciate it. Every single time you hit that like button, there's another chance to send the stream out to even more people, which increase the quality of your viewing pleasure by increasing the number of people engaged in the chat. I really do appreciate it. What a god awful name for a town. It really is. It sounds like festering, like a sore. Um, Let me see here. Plenty of weed joints. Well, what I'm saying though is, do they have any weed lounges? Do they have any like venues that are weed friendly? Because in Missouri, you can fucking smoke in a business that allows you to smoke inside that business. So, like, I mean, from at least from what I can understand, maybe I'm misreading the law, but it seems to me, from what I was reading, that you can fucking smoke in a bar in Missouri. You can smoke weed in a bar in Missouri if that establishment chooses to allow you to. And I know there are uh, weed lounges, like specific businesses dedicated to smoking weed inside of them. I know those are popping up all over Missouri because I know the amendment allowed specifically for them, but I can't remember if I'm getting it mistaken on the other part. From what I read, there's no weed lounges in Festus, though. The city is growing, so that might change. Fuck. Well, yeah, the city is growing, although I will tell you, Cummy Nipples, I don't know how old you are, but I grew up in that same area, dude. I grew up in Park Hills, and Festus, just like Farmington, has been growing. It's been growing for my entire life. And it gets a little bigger every time I go up there, but it's not, it doesn't happen as quickly as we would like it to. I saw the statistic you were asking about, Michael Forrester. I haven't verified that statistic, but I also don't care about it. I don't know. Ask a Democrat. I'm not one, so I'm gonna have to ask them to account for that. Every state has a shitty town named Farmington. Yeah. Although I will tell you, Farmington, Missouri is not the shittiest town ever. I mean, it is a pretty shitty town, and it's kind of like it's like been gentrified all the fuck too. So yeah, I guess it is a pretty shitty town, honestly, now that I think about it. I'm 34. I'm old, but definitely not the oldest EFF fan. Okay, yeah. So you're older than me. So you know exactly what I mean then. Big cities in southeast Missouri are all under a perpetual state of construction and enlarging or whatever. I don't know what, like enlargement. The progress flag is so ugly, in my opinion. I don't think it's completely ugly, but I do think that it's not, the best design ever. I kind of like it though. I kind of like it. It's grown on me. It's grown on me. There's tons of meth in Farmington, Missouri. At least there was in 2000s. Oh, there still is, Cummy Nipples. It didn't go away. Trust me, it did not go away. And honestly, like, if anything, the problem might have gotten worse because meth is one of those drugs that people learn how to make it and they teach other people how to make it as they bring, new people into their operation or whatever. It's a drug that's like very easy to make from my understanding, and um the process for doing it can be taught to somebody else pretty easily. The ingredients for making it are pretty easy to find in any little shitty small town in America. So it's like once meth takes over a town, it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse unless you deal with the underlying poverty. And even then, honestly, like meth is one of those pernicious drugs that I really feel like human beings are going to have to completely change our relationship with work to really people who do meth are doing meth or started doing meth in order to be able to do some kind of really strenuous job that they've got. So they're working like 16-hour shifts in construction or the food service industry or something like that, or they're working long ass truck driving shifts, and they have to figure out some way to stay awake. They have to figure out some way to keep that energy and keep going, despite their body telling them to stop, despite their body clearly giving out from exhaustion. And a lot of people end up on meth just as a consequence of trying to work their ass off to support their families. And ultimately, until you empower the working class to a much greater degree than we've been currently empowered, I feel like there's always going to be this perverse incentive for there to be this massive stimulant industry, not just meth, caffeine, and all kinds of like those gas station stimulants that are sold over the counter in every little gas station in America. There's like a whole above ground and underground industry dedicated to keeping America's working class going because we all have to keep going or we drop dead and die because there's just no money to fucking go around because there's no social safety net in America. So people can't afford to step back and say, you know what, I'm really being fucked over at this job. So I'm going to get everybody else in my shop to say, hey, we're going to step back for a fucking couple of weeks. We're going to fucking give them what they're actually paying us for. And if they don't like the quality of that, then they can pay us more. Or we're going to set up a strike. People are under so fucking like such intense economic and financial pressure right now that it is incredibly difficult to even try and address the drug crisis as it applies to stimulants without addressing that driving need for ever increasing productivity at the behest of the billionaire owners. I'm starting to think the mods in here are working for big pharma. No, I mean, like, as far as I know, none of them do. As far as I know, none of them do. I know Bree works in the healthcare industry. I don't know exactly what part of the healthcare industry. She described it as, she said, like, I know a lot about human anatomy, but I don't know how to administer drugs. Which means, like, she's not a doctor or a nurse. And she seems to me like she makes more than a CNA does. So, I don't know. I guessed phlebotomist or something, but she was like, no, I hate the sight of blood. I was like, okay, well, definitely not phlebotomist then. Meth induced schizophrenia can last up to 6 months. Yeah. hmm Yeah, meth is a horribly pernicious drug, 100%. You're not a woman, you're an obese man. God, you're salty. What's got you so pissed off? That's an ominous job description. I know. I know. I know. That's kind of what I thought. I didn't want to tell Brie that, but yeah, it is kind of ominous the way she worded it. I love healthcare workers. Yeah. Yeah, who doesn't? By the way, make sure you guys hit that like button and consider sending a super chat if you want to make sure your comment or question gets read or answered. I do read every single one, as long as it doesn't violate TOS. You are more than welcome to make your voice a 100% guaranteed part of the discourse. You just have to submit a super chat, or you can consider donating through my Cash App, which is on my channel description. Thank you, as always. Hello from Lakewood, Washington. Hi, Washington. I just don't want people bothering me IRL. I know, Bree. I know. I know it's probably something innocuous. I know. I'm not trying to pressure you into saying it. I'm just, it is. It sounds ominous, even if it's not, right? And actually, it's an interesting jumping off point for a little bit of discussion. It's interesting. Like that's one of the ways in which conspiracy theories are able to propagate is by people that kind of have to be vague. Whether it's politicians or people within the machinery of governance or within the machinery of education or healthcare or infrastructure or whatever. Sometimes people can't come out there and say 100% what happened unvarnished or 100% where they're coming from unvarnished. And so, like, people will, and that's really, I think, why it sounds ominous, right? Is because Americans, especially, are so conspiracy brained these days. Good morning, Phoebe. How are you doing? I'm good, Cheese Jewies. I'm fucking great. Do you plan on getting voice surgery? I am actually considering it, yeah. I was looking into it the other day, and it seems like it can have promising results. I would be interested in like trying to get some accounts from trans women who are like singers and who've had that. I'd be interested to see if there's any prominent examples of somebody I can listen to. Pre-surgery, post-surgery. Um, I've honestly been reconsidering voice training because I feel like, in a lot of ways, my singing voice is already pretty feminine. And I feel like if I just started singing in a higher register exclusively, it would probably be pretty easy for me to voice train into a higher register with my normal speaking voice. I love that you can vape on YT. TikTok immediately violates you even if you're drinking from a straw off screen. Oh, dude. Nah, yeah, no. That's fucking. Yeah, YouTube ain't like that. The worst YouTube will do is age gate your video. Worst YouTube will do is just like age gate it. They can also like they won't they'll do partial monetization if you get age gated or something like that, but I don't really care that much about it because I'm audience supported anyway. You have a great attitude. Be who you want to be. Aw, thank you for the $2. I appreciate that. That was very kind of you. Thank you. Thoughts on the Manita Gauntlet? The Gauntlet? Dude, okay, thoughts on the Gauntlet? The Gauntlet is the most beautiful piece of content, though, that has happened in a fucking long time on the Deep Fat Fried channel. By the way, if you are someone who's ever heard the name Brett Keane, if you're an old time Drunken Peasants fan, if you're somebody who's watched Deep Fat Fried at some point in your life, go check out Onion Nuggets, Nuggets with a Z. Go check out the Onion Nuggets channel because the Manatee Gauntlet is being re-uploaded right now. The 24-hour stream might have been lost, but it's being re-uploaded right now, and it is fucking hilarious. It is great. It's 24 long hours of brand new Brett commentary. It's as much Brett for the 20 year of 2025 as you can possibly want. So go check that content out if you are a person who is interested in the lolcow known as Bread Keen. Yeah, go ahead and ask the question, Philip. You subscribed just to say you hate me? And you still subscribed. 24 hours. Yes. And I'm in there. Yeah, girl showed up. I'm in the very beginning of part 3. I was there for about an hour. So in a way, it's some extra Phoebe content too. Oh shit, I was just watching your last stream and then saw you were live. Aw, Desi, you watch my shit when I ain't live. I've always wondered if there's people that do that. I know that there has to be because my watch hours have gone way up and I'm definitely not streaming as much as my watch hours would indicate. So there's got to be like 200 or 300 people that are rewatching streams after I get done with them, or that will watch old streams because they genuinely like them. And to me, that is just beautiful and awesome. And that's really what I'm trying to do. That's the type of content that I'm trying to put out there. Because for years and years and years, I would use Paul Zigo's ideology streams as my background radiation to just the everyday goings on in my life. You know, like that's what I would watch in the background a lot of times. When there wasn't a drunken a DFF show going on or something like that, it'd usually be that. And or in the early days, if there wasn't a DP episode on. And it's interesting for me to think that there might be people who are engaging with my content in that way at this point. That's really fucking cool. Thank you. Duh, what else am I gonna listen to when I clean the house or cook? I don't know, but that's just super cool. You have fans besides hate watchers? I know, but it's like it's me, you know? It's like I'm not used to that, okay? Like I'm used to like not having as many because like this is the fourth or fifth time I've heard somebody indicate that they watch my shit in the background. And like I said, my watch hours tell me that I must be getting rewatched by a lot of people. So it's really fucking cool to me. It's really wonderful and I just, I can't gush over you guys enough. Not only do you guys financially support this channel and its upgrades and everything, you guys bought this lapel mic for me, basically. Um, you guys pay my fucking bills, but you also genuinely enjoy my content and genuinely enjoy participating in the conversations with me and everything. And that is invaluable. And I literally cannot glaze you guys enough for that. Yeah, I'm sorry. I have a deep voice, but I am a trans woman. Can I please get an answer? I'm genuinely not trying to hate. I just like to hear people's opinion. Okay, I'm sorry, Philip. I forgot that you asked a question. Let me see. I'll just pull up your thing. What is your outlook on the current trans/LGBT community? I mean, like, I feel like there is like some artificial division being sown, probably by people on 4chan and people on the right, between like trans people and the rest of the queer community. But most queer people, if you just poll queer people, most queer people are pro-trans, and most trans people are broadly pro-queer. So like there is widespread solidarity amongst the LGBTQ community. Most people within the queer community are not trying to push trans people out, and I think those of us who are honestly are or those of well, I say those of us mean the queer community that are, but I'm not a transphobe. Obviously, I'm a trans woman. I mean, I guess you can be kind of transphobic and be a trans woman the same way you can be racist and be black, right? But um, it's certainly less likely, I think, and more easy to see why you would think that a trans person wouldn't be transphobic, right? But um, fuck, I forgot the point I was making. I totally forgot the point I was making. Point is, that's the outlook. You asked what my outlook on it is. That's my outlook. I think there's still widespread solidarity. Stop pretending to be something you're not. Stop pretending to be someone with important things to say who's worthwhile and worthy of being read in chat. You can't even type correctly. You type like a third grader who just learned to write last week. You think I should take your opinion seriously, but you're not even intelligent enough to write like a third grader. I'm sorry, but I'm not compelled. My daughter is transitioning. What's the best thing I can do to support her? Well, number one is trying your best not to misgender her. If I'm assuming by her, that's the pronouns she's using now. I'm assuming this is a trans woman we're talking about. But if they were born your daughter, then like actually calling him your son, whichever way, right? Actually reaffirming their gender identity is the biggest thing you can do as a parent for a trans person in your life, right? If you're and honestly, like, depending on how young they are, there might be different steps that you take for their care. If they're an adult child, the best thing you can do for them is to be there for them, to reassure them, to let them know that you see them as your child, regardless of what their gender identity has to say about them. And um, also to really embrace what they want their gender identity to be. If it's somebody who was born male that's transitioning to a woman, you would like really like it would be like it would really endear you in their eyes if you would invite them to do some like traditionally feminine activities, or if it's someone who was born female and is transitioning to a man, and like some men that would be willing to take them on some masculine activities, then have them do that. That can be a really fucking great opportunity to make your kid feel like you take it seriously, like you want to give them opportunities to really be themselves. And that's the biggest thing you can do if it's an adult child. If they're like, if they're really young, like if they're 12 or 13, I would say, a big first step is getting them into therapy, like getting them into a gender therapist. Have them talk about it with somebody who's a licensed professional. I had a son for 32 years. Now I have a daughter. Sometimes I use the wrong pronoun and she forgives me every time. She is my hero. Aw, you're doing great. I can already tell you're doing great. You don't need no advice from me, hon. Trust me, you're doing great. Somebody said get a job earlier, by the way. This is employment. I make money on this. I don't make a ton of money, but thanks to my really wonderful audience and the really hateful audience too, both of them pay. But thanks to my, pretty nicely sized compared considering I've only been doing this for a year, audience and still growing, I am able to make a living off of this. I'm able to pay my bills. Now, granted, I don't have as many bills as the average American does. I don't have a $2,200 mortgage or a $1,500 rent payment sitting over my head every month. My family doesn't have that. This land was paid for back in the 40s. So we don't have the same type of poverty that a lot of people other that like would be dealing with the kind of money that my household makes. But you know, I make between 750 and 1,000 a month right now, with where my channel's at, and with that, I'm able to pay all of my bills. I'm not able to save yet, but I'm able to pay all of my bills and buy groceries. That's ultimately what I'm trying to do. Yeah, you make money off these haters, girl. I do make, I mean, ton of, like, not, like I said, not tons, but like, a ton if you're comparing it to where I was last year. Dude, literally, this time 2 years ago, I had 117 subscribers. This time 2 years ago, I had 117 subscribers. Now have over 9,000. That's amazing. I have almost as many subs as Demon Mama does at this point. I'm about 4,000 subs away, so about half this year from overtaking Demon Mama. And I know she doesn't stream anymore, but that's about where she was at her peak, maybe 16,000. So in about another year, I will have surpassed Demon Mama. Another couple of years. I mean, another couple of years, I could be hitting the sub numbers of the FF channel. And I'm not trying to like put myself up against these people as like, man, I'm better than them. I'm just saying like it's a benchmark for how much I'm growing and for how successful you can be at a given tier level, if that makes sense. Can you explain the Demon Mama drama? Basically, she hired a kid as an editor. That's it. Some shit went down on our Discord, but she had nothing to do with that. Some shit went down like in her community that she had jack shit to do with. But as far as the shit Demon Mama actually did, she hired a kid to be an editor. That's That's the horrible drama that got her taken off of YouTube. And by taken, driven off by trolls and haters. Why'd she drop off the face of the earth? She couldn't handle the heat. Just to be real with you. Just to be real with you. She couldn't handle the heat. If I had a drama like that pop out, I would literally just make a video like, so hey guys, I'm a retard and I committed a federal labor violation. Yay! So, here's all the things I'm going to be doing up to make up for that. But first, let me explain what happened. I hired a child to be my editor. I did not know they were a child at the time when I hired them. And after I found out, I continued allowing them to be my editor because I thought, well, I would love to have a gig like this paying this well at my age, but it was honestly not the right thing to do. Children don't have the same representation in the labor space. I would just literally just been completely honest about it, went through the whole fucking thing, let myself get the fucking hate because I deal with nothing but hate all the time already. Literally, 90% of the things in my chat are hateful. So I would just fucking let it shed off like water off a duck's back. It's not like she was getting banned off YouTube. It's not like her content was going to get taken down. There's nothing like that. She was not facing any of those many swords of Damocles. And the people who like her would have rallied around her and started supporting her channel more. She just couldn't handle the heat. She couldn't handle the heat. She couldn't handle the fucking videos being made about her and her community. And she didn't know what to do with it or about it other than to just go and probably, honestly, Demon Mama probably works as a social media manager for some big corporation now. Because her channel counts as self-employment. And it was a successful bout of self-employment that lasted 2 or 3 years. So I have no doubt that Demon Mama is doing fine for herself. She's just not a public-facing figure anymore because she couldn't handle the heat. You live in a house share? No? Maybe? I don't know. I don't know what that means. Make sure you guys hit that like button, by the way. They're almost 300. They're almost 300 of you right now. So if half of you guys hit that like button right now, there'd be 150 likes on top of the fucking 38 we already have. So please hit that button if you haven't done so already. I really do appreciate it. Also, when you are done with the stream, like whenever the stream ends and everything, I'm just going to let you guys know, since there's so many of you here right now, if you really want to help out the channel, a big way you can do that is to watch the content that I'm uploading, like the short form content and everything that I'm uploading as I'm uploading it. Even if you just sit through even if you just sit through it with your phone muted, letting it sit on the couch or something, that helps immensely. That helps get that short out there more. That helps send it out to more people, and that helps me earn a little bit of ad revenue, which is not great, but it's another way you can help support the channel without paying anything. You know, if you're just interested in helping this channel grow. I'm in the UK. What's up, UK? What's your favorite video game? The worst video game on the planet. Ark Survival Evolved. The biggest time sink you will ever turn on. Why do I get the feeling you're a grand strategy gamer, trans girl? What qualifies as a grand strategy? Man, I cannot wait to smoke some weed. Phoebe, do you have a Discord server? I do. I do, if somebody wants to drop the link. Okay, let me see. Hello, Phoebe. I have a friend that's a guy that I've known for honestly nearly my whole life. We went on many trips together as guys trips, and it always came to be an amazing time. They have transitioned recently, and it has really made my emotions skyrocket. They were attractive before, and now they are really smoking. I'm new to feeling like this, so I'm scared to actually say it. Aw, I'm seeing a blossoming romance here. So, like, here's the thing: if you're attracted to them, like legitimately attracted to them, it doesn't matter what other people think about it. It doesn't matter what other people think of your sexuality or as a result of it. What matters ultimately is that you're happy, that you can't get enough of her. And if you can't get enough of her, go for it, girl. Or I don't know your gender, but go for it. You said guys trip, so I'm assuming you're a dude. So go for it, dude. There's no way that it's not going to turn out in your favor, you know? Because like chances are there's already some kind of like budding romance there. It kind of sounds like there might be. So why not just go for it? Yeah, no, I remembered that when you said guys trips. Yeah, but it like that's the thing. Even if you don't consider yourself somebody who would normally be attracted to trans women, if you are like attracted to this particular trans woman, why not go for it? See how it feels. Worst comes to worst, in the future, okay, I'm probably not going to date trans girls because I'm not into that. But maybe you will be. Maybe not only that, but maybe you'll be into them as a person so much that it won't even really matter. Because that can happen in all kinds of relationships too, not just like with trans people. I challenged that notion. I bought Satisfactory on Xbox, saw a haze of numbers and flying mechanical parts, woke up and saw the authorities had declared me legally dead. Dude, I don't know, Cummy Nipples. Have you ever played fucking Ark Survival Evolved? Even if you've got offline raid protection, it's fucking a really hard game. What is your biggest argument against LGBTQ hate speech? Um, that it's not really like it's as far as like why should people not be hateful towards queer people? Because it's not conducive to the smooth operation of a society. For the same reason that people shouldn't be hateful to Christians, for the same reason that people shouldn't be hateful to Muslims, for the same reason that people shouldn't be hateful to Jews, for the same reason that people shouldn't be hateful to Sikhs or Black people or Mexicans or whatever, because it's not conducive to the smooth operation of a society. In other words, it pisses people off, and pissing people off willy nilly is usually considered pretty rude, and ultimately, rude is really just a human euphemism for likely to get your face popped. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm a pacifist. Not gonna be me, but what age should someone be able to transition? I leave this to the Dutch. If you look up the Dutch protocol, there is actually a pretty long established like timeline, like transition timeline for a minor person who is trans. So it usually starts around 8, 9, something like that, with just basic therapy. Around the time that they start going through the first signs of puberty, if they are determined to need puberty blockers, they'll be assigned puberty blockers. If they still want to continue transitioning 2 or 3 years into that, they'll be given a hormone replacement therapy regimen. So usually that would start around, I think from the research I did, it's like 13, 14, something like that. But a lot of trans kids end up starting HRT, sometimes a little later. And sex reassignment surgery, I think, has been done on patients as young as 16, but it's usually done more around 18. And I think that given the positive outcomes that the Dutch medical system comes out with when it comes in regards to trans people, especially, I feel like that's pretty justified science at this point. I feel like it's pretty reasonable. The Dutch say 15 to 16 for hormones. Okay, cool. So I was getting my dates mixed up. Okay, thank you, Bree. Bree is an actual fucking medical professional, so I will take her word on this. 15 to 16 for hormones, and then probably 18 to 19 for sex reassignment surgery. I would guess if somebody wants to go that route. Dude, you know what place? You know what place? Dude, I keep dropping this fact on people. There are two countries in the Middle East that will recognize your gender transition as legitimate and will pay for it. There are two countries in the Middle East with which both of these things are true. One of them's really obvious. One of them's Israel. What's the other one? What's the other one? Anybody know? Yep, yep, yep. Bree got it. Yep, Bree got it. Not just a trans girl. You can be a trans guy. Like, as far as I know, the fatwa did not. So, from what I understand, the fatwa issued by Khomeini applies to trans people broadly, recognizes gender dysphoria as a condition, and recognizes uh, um, transition as its recommended treatment. But yeah, super illegal to be gay, which is why a lot of gay people in Iran will just transition so that they can have sex with the same sex that they were born as, which sucks. I'm not saying they're a progressive bastion. It's just surprising. And you know what it did? You know what did it? And this is another thing that tells me that there's a lot more heart, even that, like, here's the thing, dude. Are the horrible fascist regimes in the Muslim world horrible and fascist? Yeah. But I do think that there's a little bit more emotion and heart to them than the fascist regimes of Western Europe. Because, like, the reason why trans people are allowed in Iran and their surgeries are paid for and everything is because a trans woman went through a lengthy process to get a hold of the Ayatollah and to um, to beg him basically to let her transition and to recognize it. And he did so with a fatwa. And in fact, when he issued the fatwa, I don't think it was actually um, taken. No, that's right. He issued an initial fatwa that was like pro-trans back in the 60s or something, but he was not a cleric with power, so it didn't really matter. But once he became an Ayatollah, the second fatwa he issued, recognizing gender transition and everything, that did hold weight, at the very least in Iran. And it's just wild. You would not expect it. Once again, Iran, not some fucking progressive bastion, but I do think that there might be a little bit more of a soul in Ayatollah Khomeini than there was in Adolf Hitler. Dude, now we just need a gay guy. Now we just need a gay Muslim guy in Iran to just, like, get really close with the fucking Ayatollah and be like, listen, I have avoided telling you this for a very long time. But in truth, Mullah, I am a gay man and to be recognized. There is nothing specific in the Quran against homosexuality. And you do not even recognize the hadiths that speak against it as legitimate. You have said yourself that those hadiths do not apply to 12 Shia Muslims. Surely you must recognize this hypocrisy. We just need to make it happen, dude. We just need to make it happen. We need to fucking get some gay Iranian to be really close friends with the Ayatollah and then just make an impassioned plea. And he'll probably do it. And he'll probably be like, all right, all right. Are you a history teacher? I should be. I should be. I'm Iranian and I sound exactly like my grandpa. Okay, I don't know an Iranian accent. I honestly just did like a generic kind of like Indian accent, which is really horribly racist. But what does an Iranian accent sound like? I'm pretty sure I could master it if I spent enough time listening to speeches from the first Ayatollah who could speak English. Let me ask you this. If I was going to get if I was going to master an Iranian accent and I was actually going to try and sound like an average Iranian, should I model it more after the Shah or more after the clerics? Because I'm thinking the clerics. BB, please don't do that. Don't do what? I bet there's some awesome underground Iranian queer scene. Yeah, there's a lot, like, probably a really dope underground Iranian queer scene. You know what? I bet there are a lot of police bribes involved too, because there was here in America. Hi, I'm back. I found my half siblings and my half sister told me not to tell my dad I'm trans, so I move out completely. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying too. Honestly, it's just probably not the best idea. I hate to tell people that, but if you can stand it, just focus all of your energy into moving out. It's pretty similar to Indian, honestly. Oh, okay, cool. I'll just keep doing my generic Indian then. Maybe I'll listen to a few more speeches from the Shah though, because I do like the way that guy talks, even though he was a monster. Of course, the fucking Ayatollah is too, so who cares? um, any chance of Iran getting some like progressive leadership here in the next, little while? I will be honest with you, dude. Persian history fascinates the fuck out of me. Iranian history fascinates the fuck out of me. I want to visit Iran so bad. Wait a minute. I can. I'm going to Iran. I'm going to Iran, y'all. I'm going. Dude, I wonder how practical it is. Could I move my family to Iran? I'd have to become a Muslim. I couldn't openly have sex with other women. Never mind. I'm not moving to Iran. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm kidding, you guys. I'm fucking joking. Oh, shit. Tehran is like out of water. Yeah, that's what I hear. Dude, I was watching a news story about that the other day. Literally, one of the reservoirs that they rely on, they're trying to cloud seed the fucking area and the valley around it and everything to try and fill that reservoir back up. So they just like fucking flat out don't like they don't know what else to do. Like there's just, like the climate change and shit that has been happening across the globe is happening just as much there as it is anywhere. And it's making it harder and harder as time goes by to keep that reservoir replenished. By the way, thank you guys for the gifts and thank you for that membership. Holy shit, thank you. Thank you so much. We just witnessed an autism moment. Whatever. Maybe you did. Which part was the autism moment? Because I kind of feel like I'm always perpetually in one long autism moment. By the way, the more of you guys sign up for memberships, the more likely we are to be able to start doing some exclusive members only live streams. So please consider hitting that fucking sign up for the membership button. It's really cheap to get in for those, honestly. Like the basic membership level, I think is like $2 or $3 a month. So consider signing up for a membership if that interests you, because I would love to do some members only live streams where it's just me and the people that are really dedicated to the channel and really like the content. You should try Iranian food. It's really good. I bet it is. I bet it's delicious. I bet it's wonderful. Honestly. Dude, you know what's funny? The thing that really foiled that Iran plan really was realizing that I would have to play it straight. I was like, fuck, god damn it. The whole fake it, like fake being Muslim thing, I was fine with that. If the whole society's doing it. I don't want to be the odd one out. If they've got some delicate social fabric and that's a part of it, whatever, that's cool. But I wouldn't be able to be a lesbian thing. That kind of kills it. You look so pretty today. Aw, thank you. That's so sweet. That's so kind of you. You guys have been so kind today. You guys have been like literally super cool as a chat, and I really appreciate that. It's not every day that we have this high quality of chat. What's up, Table Knots? Make sure you guys hit that like button, by the way. Every single time you hit that like button is a chance to send the stream out to even more people, which increase the quality if you're feeling pleasure by increasing the people engaged in the chat. And if you've been watching for 55 minutes, you like the stream. Come on. Just admit it to yourself and admit it to the rest of us. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, Phoebe. Aw, thank you, That Girl's Graveyard. I appreciate that. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody in the chat. I'm definitely going to be doing a Thanksgiving stream tomorrow since my family is not doing our dinner until Saturday. So I'll be doing a stream in case any of you guys don't have stuff going on Thanksgiving. You guys need a comfy place to hang out. You know what? I'll try to do. I'll do it Thanksgiving oriented if I can. I would love to be a member, but my parents are transphobes, and I share an account with my mom, and she would kill me if she saw I spent money on your channel. Sorry, you're fine. You're chill. Don't get yourself in trouble. Don't get yourself in trouble. You have to understand. YouTubers have to make these regular calls to. They're called like a call to action, and it's a great way to get people to remember that those options are out there and to encourage people that might be on the fence about supporting to do so. But, if you can't, like, it should never come as like a sense of obligation or a feeling of obligation. Would you want to have a discussion on how the trans movement became so powerful in the last decade? I mean, sure. Yeah, it sounds interesting. I would see, we're going to disagree with the very premise, though, because I would argue that the trans movement hasn't become more powerful. It's certainly become more visible. Visible, yes. And it's become a little more powerful. But as far as like institutionalized power, I mean, trans people, we can't even get our passports changed right now? So we are still very much under the brunt of institutional power. So, sounds interesting to me. Love the live stream. Keep it up. And yes to the video tomorrow. Hell yeah. Cool. Nice. Trolls always be having something to say on these type of streams, literally. But that's what, dude, I figured out a fucking while ago when I started streaming that trolls are some of your best content farms. Trolls are some of your best. It's like they're involuntary lol cows. They're involuntary temporary faceless lol cows. I get to poke and prod at them for as long as they let me. All they have to do is turn the screen off and go to another stream, but they don't. They keep on giving me content. They keep on feeding me. They keep letting me squeeze milk out of their juicy, delicious, hilarious titties. And I keep on doing it. And like, honestly, if you can learn to monetize trolls and to use them to push your content forward, like, you can be successful on YouTube even without having some like giant area of expertise to share your knowledge from. Why is it showing tags now instead of names? I wish YT would stop changing things. Me too. I hate it, honestly, because I know people prefer their names over their tags. Like, my tag I use is like just the same as my name. So either way it works, but that's why, is because YouTube started excuse me, YouTube started rolling this change out a few months ago. It just hasn't hit every stream yet. Glad to see the wildlife in Chernobyl is thriving. Yep, we're doing pretty good. That one was actually funny. Trolls in the chat, take notice. Yeah, that was a little more original, but I don't like when people talk to you that way. Aw, that's sweet. I am so used to it at this point, and honestly, like, you know, um, I went through a lot of bullying when I was a kid, and even as an adult, I think I do probably become more of a target of derision than a lot of people do. But it's been a long time, not since I was 8 years old, that I've looked at that as like some sort of like victimization thing. To me now, I just look at it as an opportunity to prove just how much more clever I am than somebody. It's like, with that person that's made the Chernobyl joke, it's like, what makes me look better, raging out at that, or kind of laughing at it and being like, yeah, well, we're doing great. Yeah, wouldn't you know? That made me look way smoother, way more charismatic, way more sure of myself than any kind of, you know, boisterous back response would have done. No one should be used to it. You deserve kindness. Well, you're really sweet for you're really sweet for that, and you know, that's that's terribly kind. That's terribly kind. That's all I have to say. Because I don't want to tell somebody to not be nice or to like expect unkindness from the world. I just wish more people were like that, honestly, because there are a lot of people that just don't give a shit at all. Like there are so many fucking people. Even I can be really dismissive of people's feelings sometimes. I don't even. Sometimes I'm more dismissive than I would like to be. What's up, Casey? Biggie's Revenge is wonderful smoke from Thunder Chief. Happy 420. Happy 420. Screw the haters. Let's smoke. Okay. You're right. Screw the haters. Let's smoke. No, I 100% agree, Graveyard. I 100% agree. There's no reason to go out of your way or to take time out of your day just to be mean to people. And I think a lot of people that do that are just used to like throwing that kind of vitriol around and never having it dashed back in their face, which is why I respond in the way that I do when I do respond with vitriol. When somebody's being like really horribly hateful or something like that, and I do choose to be vitriolic in response, it's because I've detected in them a person who is very much used to dishing out what is never dished back at them. But ultimately, if somebody is clever or they make a joke that I think is like, you know, kind of funny, even if it is mean, but it's not like, you know, I don't know. I don't know how to explain the complex decision matrix that goes on in my head when deciding whether or not a comment is worthy. It works. It works somehow. Don't allow propaganda to destroy your empathy so deeply that you forget humans have feelings and shit. Oh, 100%. 100%. And no matter what side of politics you're coming from, the other person on the other side of that conversation, unless they're a robot or something like that, has feelings, they have a heart, they have hopes and dreams just like you do. Usually my name is just that girl. You do very well. I just don't like how people talk to you. That's fine. I understand. Well, it's not fine, you know. But I just mean it's fine insofar as that, like, I get what you mean. I get what you mean, and I wish that they weren't so mean to me too. But ultimately, haters gonna hate, 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 hate. You know, haters gonna hate, 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 hate. Shakers gonna shake, 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 shake. Shake it out, shake it out. After all, how could you hate me? Are you a Swiftie? I'm not that song. I love the parrots on your skirt. This is not a skirt, it's a blanket. It's really cold today, so I got a blanket on. You're so fucking funny. Aw, thanks. Subscribe and hit the bell so you can get more of a laugh riot next time I stream. But be warned, if you're thinking this is great content, because I'm bipolar as shit. So on any given stream, I'm as apt to be manic, happy, and funny and joyful as I am to be like, loathfully depressing. You know, sometimes I'm like, yay! And other times I'm like, I am literally going to scream at everyone in chat and ban half of you. Legit, I have to go, but that black lace is your jam. Looks nice. And oh, thank you. I'm gonna get some more shirts like this. Honestly, I'm gonna get some more tops that incorporate this kind of design because I think it looks nice on me too. Girl, I've seen you before. I know. Hey, cool. You seem like a witchy kind of gal. We get along. I definitely am. I don't know if I believe in the veracity of a lot of the like witchy type of stuff, but I'm also like, you know, kind of a proponent of the idea that belief makes power in some ways. This chat is very bad sometimes, so I get wanting to scream at them. OMG, yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing is like sometimes I'm just not in the mood and I come in here wanting to have an intricate political conversation or something like that, and we end up talking about everything but that. Like today I wanted to talk about how but we just didn't end up talking about it because the topic went other places, and I'm really glad it did. But there are other times when I would have started the stream and been really mad that nobody wanted to talk about the topic I wanted to talk about. you know which is why sometimes I should probably just take the topics that I find interesting and just make videos about them. That's a piece of advice I got given the other day, and I've been doing it, but I need to edit those videos, publish them, and fucking I just need to get off my ass with this shit, honestly. I keep coming back to these live streams and I keep doing them because I have a lot of fun with them. They're a really interesting and fun creative atmosphere. Plus, it's a really good way to use my time creatively while I sit here and smoke a bowl because it's part of my medication regimen. But um, ultimately, it drives, it's like the main driver of my monetization model right now, but it's not sustainable long term. Whereas in theory, if I make a really good video, that can continue to generate income for months by like getting more people to attend these streams, by getting people to leave super thanks and stuff like that, et cetera, et cetera. I'm wearing my "No One Is Legal on Stolen Land" shirts to family Thanksgiving tomorrow. Wish me luck. Good luck. Good luck. Your name says you're from New York, so maybe that'll be okay. Maybe you'll do all right. I don't know if you remember me telling you about my dad kicking out my trans friend, but he did it again, and he's really pissing me off because they're not even doing anything to provoke it. I do remember that, and that does really fucking suck. Unfortunately, like when it's somebody else's house, there's just only so much you can do. Like, that's why I always tell people like the best thing you can do to improve your own situation, and it's a piece of advice that me and Bree were talking about the other day that I agreed with her on, though I didn't agree with the argument that she was bolstering with it, which is that ultimately you should be striving if you're not already born into the kind of privilege that's going to enable you to get this just naturally to the everyday life, living normally with no extra effort. Like, if you're not born middle class or whatever, you should be striving to put yourself in a position where you are at least lower middle class, because that is freedom. And I mean that. Like, the position I'm in doesn't feel like lower middle class to us. We can't afford nice things, really. I mean, we can, but a lot of times, like, we'll have to rent to own something or save up for a year or whatever to get some big fancy thing. Um, we're definitely lower middle class, maybe upper lower class, something like that. But that's only because we don't have rent or a mortgage, right? And that allows us, like, that's our source of financial security, that's our source of stability. It's a big driver of our stability. And ultimately, if you don't have your own place, and I mean an apartment, a house you rent, or a house you own, if you don't have your own place, you ain't free. You are subject to somebody else's whims and their regulations and everything else. And not only that, but you are also reliant on other people to provide things that you could provide for people if you were in that position. So, for example, when I lived in a house that I was renting with my ex, Taylor, we split the rent and the bills, and it was pretty much me and her mainly paying the bills. And honestly, she carried a number of months when I just wasn't making enough. But between the two of us, we were the primary breadwinners for that house. Um, at least through most of the time that I lived there and everything. And during that time, there were like 3 or 4 different people that we helped out by letting them move into the spare room that we had after our first roommate moved out. There was like 3 or 4 different fucking people that we helped out by letting them move in for a time. And that's something that we were able to do, and we were able to provide them with a really fucking cool spot to crash out while they got their feet under them again. Um, because we weren't, living under someone else's roof or relying on that, right? Billionaires usually can't even spend all their money, but they usually still earn more than a lot of their employees combined. Yep, 100%. You have an amazing day. Hopefully, you'll be on later. Peace, love, and hope. Thank you. I appreciate that. It was nice chatting. Have a wonderful day. Stay gold. Aw, you guys are great. I don't know why everybody's dropping off. Yeah, mutual aid can't just be a bunch of people with nothing trading nothing. I mean, yeah, honestly. And this reminds me of something that Demon Mama said way back when on deep. I keep wanting to call them drunken peasants. God damn it. To this day, fucking dumbass. Anyway, fucking DFF when Demon Mama was on DFF or Onion Nuggets or whatever the fuck, she made this point that one of the reasons why leftist organizations are having a hard time gaining ground in America is because a lot of the left is building with garbage. Like we're building with trash. We're building with rubbish. We don't. It's not like we're building with quality building materials and really strong organizational structures. We're working off the ruins of defeated leftist movements in the past. And I think that kind of philosophy is also broadly applicable to um, community organizing as a topic and everything, because it, like, even a person in my position, right, the fact that we have this land enables us to grow things. Even if we didn't have any money, we still have the ability to grow things. Even if we decided to go off grid and everything and decided to just not interact with money except for paying our property taxes and putting the rest in some kind of savings account for when we do have to go get something or upgrade something or whatever. Even if we decided to do something like that, the fact that we have land means that we can grow things and we can trade what we grow with other people. We can teach other people how to grow things. Like that's an experience thing that and that sort of thing is only something that was enabled by that, you know, hardworking, let's escape from poverty kind of attitude. That's something that was only achieved through that kind of effort. Holy shit, thank you for the pie. How kind of you. I am gonna get off here pretty soon. That. I don't even know what those are called. Cat ears, nice. Pumpkin pie. Well, thank you guys. If this is a manly girl or girly man, I don't think I'm that manly, but I am a girl. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and go. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. As always, you guys are a tremendous lot of people. It is only through your support that I am able to do this. So if you would like to continue that support, consider donating through Cash App on my channel description, or sending a super chat, or leaving a super thanks on one of my videos. You can also just let any of my videos play. Most of them are monetized in some way, and that helps out my channel immensely. Um, Shorts too. So thank you guys for that. Thank you guys for hanging out, and I will see you guys around later. Peace.